Hey YouTube. Well, I thought I'd do a story time. For some reason, I woke up this morning with the song Hotel California in my spirit. I must have heard it. It must have been the last thing I heard before I went to sleep. Anyway, that song always takes me back. Let me tell you why. Okay, I'm going to tell you the story about how I came to California, right? I was 19 years old. I lived in Indianapolis, Indiana. And that song is very relevant. I'm going to show you why it's so relevant for me, why it always takes me back to the same place. Anyway, I was living in Indianapolis, Indiana. I was 19 years old. I was working at Sears Roebuck, right? Now, from certainly from all my teenage years, it was always my plan to at some point to move to California. A big part of that was because I wanted to come out in California. I wanted to be away from my family on my own. It just, even if I weren't gay, I think I just wanted to be away. So I longed for the day when I would leave Indianapolis, right? Well, I had moved out of my mama's house, and I got myself a little apartment, a few blocks away from her, right? And I had this car. I had a nice car. I was working for fast food restaurants or whatever. But I was living at home, so I was able to save enough money. I got a nice car. It was a '73 Mach 1, Mustang Mach 1. Now, this is in '76, so this car was only 3 years old, which was doing a lot for a 19-year-old boy. Anyway, my mama had co-signed for this car, right? But I was working at Sears. I was a little bit in over my head. I had just moved out. I had this little apartment, and I had this car, which it requires insurance and maintenance and all this kind of stuff. So I was really barely making it, but I just didn't understand about finance, about money and stuff like that. So one day I was reading the paper, and I saw this ad in the paper. I think I was looking for a second job to offset some of these expenses I had. And I saw this ad, and it said, "Travel the world with this company," and that you could choose to live in California. All this was in the ad, so I called them up. Supposedly made arrangements to meet them at his hotel, right? So I went out and told everybody I'm moving to California. Uh, Next thing happened, I went to the hotel to meet these people, right? And I think it was like selling magazine subscriptions, stuff, something but you travel and doing it. So I don't know what kind of scam this was, but when I got to the hotel where I was supposed to meet, I think it was at the downtown Hilton. They weren't there. They were checked out. So it was all some kind of scam that they were running. I don't know what that was all about because I met with them the first time. I think I remember, and then when I was coming in from my big interview, they were gone. They had left. So I had told everybody I knew, including my mother and all my family members, that I was moving. So I was not going to stop. I said, I told everybody I'm leaving. Now I'm embarrassed because I'm still here. These people have moved away. So I quit my job at Sears. And I said, well, all the foundation's already set. I'm going to California. So I got in my Mustang Mach 1. This just juice. Don't get no ideas. I don't drink. Got in this car, right? Packed all my shit. I mean, my items in the trunk, whatever fit in the trunk. I didn't want to leave a lot of stuff in the seats and stuff, And said I was going to drive to California. So now, where the song comes in, of course, I had this was a pretty nice car. And I had my whole collection of music in the car, right? But I was so ill prepared to go to California because I didn't even take time to look at a map and see exactly where California was. I just got in the car and started driving. Well, what I did was I drove to Chicago. Now, Chicago, if Indianapolis is here, and California, let's say, is up here, Chicago is way over here somewhere. So I should have came through St. Louis, but I didn't know because I didn't do the research and find out how to even. I mean, I had never been out of Indianapolis, not even for a day trip. So I ended up in Chicago. I was exhausted, tired. I think it was 5 or 6 hours to drive to Chicago from Indianapolis. Exhausted, tired. So I said, okay, I got to get a room. Now, you got to imagine how naive a person I am. Never been away from home, never been away from family, and I'm on the road. I get to the hotel, I get a Holiday Inn, and I rent a room. Now I have $190 something when I first left Indianapolis. $190 to go all the way to California. And I get to Chicago, which is the wrong city, the wrong direction, and I drop 70 of those dollars on a room in Chicago. I know it don't make no sense. Got this room, and then I'll have to get up and leave the room by 11 o'clock the next day, right? I was just exhausted. I wanted to sleep. Not even thinking about what it was going to cost to get there. Anyway, so when I came out of my car, I came out of the hotel, Holiday Inn, next day. My car had been broken into in Chicago. And what they had taken was the case that had all of my music in the case. All of my R&B music, whatever I had collected from, I was a big Al Green fan. My whole collection was gone. I had everything he ever did. Everything was gone except for one. It wasn't an 8-track, it was a cassette. One cassette. And the only reason that one cassette was not gone because it was inside of the tape player. So this had been my theme song. When I decided I want to go to California, I got in this song. The Eagles had a popular song. And I said, well, I'll get this song. Welcome to the Hotel California. Just a California kind of thing, get me in the mood, right? Well, I didn't plan on listening to this over and over and over and over and over again. All the way to California. So when they stole out everything, they left only the one that was inside of the player. So I know that song frontwards and backwards, and I still do. Every time I hear it, it reminds me of that trip. Since we're here, I'll talk more about the trip. So, of course, as you pass big cities, they all had radio stations, right? So you know the radio, you can get whatever signals from there. Then you're not driving into these cities, though. You're driving past them. So you would get radio signal for a while, and then it would change, and there would be some other kind of country western kind of town you're going through, whatever. That's the only music you can get. So I had to rely on this only on my cassette player. And of course I only had one cassette. So it's over and over again. Welcome to the Hotel California. Okay. And there were many places where there's no reception whatsoever. So it had to be just that same CD. I mean that same, this is 1976. The same cassette. All right, so I get my car all the way to Las Vegas, Nevada. All right. Of course, I got no money. I sleep there. I went the first night. I ran out of money because I was eating and paying for gas and oil on the way there. First thing I did, I went to the Caesar's Palace. Right. Ignore that. Somehow or other, I thought that Caesar's Palace, I could go into Caesar's Palace, and I told them that I lost my wallet. I've been ripped off. They would give me money. I don't know where I came up with that idea. Like I said, I'd never been out of Indiana. I was a country bumpkin, right? So I go tell them that. And, you know, of course, oh, Jesus, that thing. Okay. I got to see if I got to start this. Oh, I might have to start the whole thing over again. If that thing starts squawking, good. I've been getting a lot of telemarketers lately. All right, where was I at? In Las Vegas, I told the managers, I said, oh, I've been ripped off. Somebody pickpocketed me. I guess I thought they were just going to hand me over a couple $100. I don't know. But, of course, the big casinos, they all had cameras. So they know what time it was, stupid ass. They said, okay, well, oh, really? They stole your money, your wallet? Oh, you better go and file a police report. So I went all the way down there to file a police report, thinking that they would go to somehow, their shorts would go cover me or something. I don't know what I was thinking. But I stayed there in Las Vegas, and I was sleeping in my car for a week or so. I was able to get past my pride and I called his uncle. And asked him to send me some money. I'm stuck in Las Vegas. And he sent me $300 and I wouldn't gamble. I wouldn't gamble the $300. Somehow or other, I won a bunch of dimes, right? So I figure, oh, I'm on a roll now. I'm gonna try to win some more money, get me all the way to California. So I gambled away most of that money, the $300. Then my mother, remember that car I told you about? I had the 73 Mach 1. It was 76. It was a 3-year-old car. She had co-signed for that car. And she said, oh, you got to bring that back because I've co-signed for it. And something about the insurance, did I leave without, my car somehow wasn't covered, the insurance, and I had no money to give them. So she said, oh, you got to bring that back. Of course, I didn't want to do it. It was a long trip. I got back in the car. I said, okay, I'll drive. And it's always, welcome to the Hotel California. This is the theme music all the way through this whole experience, right? I get to Grand Junction, Colorado. I'm on the freeway. So I had to be doing, I guess 55 was the speed limit then. But the drive shaft, that thing underneath the car that connects the back wheels to the motor, it fell out on the freeway. That put me in Grand Junction, Colorado. I was in Grand Junction, Colorado. I was 19 years old. I had no money. And I had to get this car back to Indiana. So the drive shaft fell off. The man told me whatever amounts of hundreds of dollars it was, whatever. I didn't have it. So I said, okay, I got to get back to Indianapolis. I'm starting to panic now. I'm in the middle of nowhere, way up in the Grand Junction. It's in the mountains, and I got no car. So God smiled down on me, and I stuck my thumb out on the freeway. I think I was trying to get to Denver. That was the closest city. And this guy just got out of jail. I met him on the road. There. He said, "Listen, I have a bus ticket. They gave me a bus ticket in Grand Junction to get out of town. I'll give it to you." So this man, who I didn't know, this white guy I never even laid eyes on, gave me his bus ticket. So he gave me a ride to someone else gave me a ride. I got a ride to Grand Junction. No, I got a ride to Denver. And then this guy gave me his bus ticket to go back to Indianapolis, right? So my mother had to pay for the car to get back. They had to tow the car on one of those flatbeds all the way back to Indiana just to turn it over to the people who I bought the car from. So mother just had to swallow that $1,000, whatever. Of course, my only thing was I have to get out of town now and humiliate myself. So I left again almost immediately. I got a little job there for a couple of weeks at Value City, some little discount store. I might have been there a month. I saved enough money. Actually, I saved every dime I had and bought a bus ticket to California, all the way to California this time. All right, what was my story? Oh, okay, the Hotel California. Okay, so anyway, I can remember the details of that story. Every time I hear the song, Welcome to the Hotel California by the Eagles. Okay, that's my story time. I did make it all the way to California at the time. I remember the date, sort of, I know it was 1976 because as I was passing Las Vegas, the man on the bus said that Elvis Presley had just died. So I don't know if it was 76, 77, right there. But on the day he died, I was passing Nevada on my way back on my way to Los Angeles. I didn't make it that time, but that's a different story for a different time. That's my story time for the day. Welcome to the Hotel California. That's how I got here.